What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Neeks Sports. A lot has happened in the world of Premier League football in such a short period of time, 24 hours. I did 2 videos on it. Pochettino sacked, Mourinho hired, but in both instances, Man United's name just keeps getting mentioned. This video is going to be dedicated to Manchester United. We can't focus on the dealings of other clubs and the whereabouts of other managers. We've got a club, we've got players, and we've got a manager. We've got aims, aspirations, goals that we need to meet. And that's where our focus should be as fans, as far as I'm concerned. That's where our focus should be. If the results ain't right, Solskjaer will go, a new manager will come in. But the focus for us fans needs to be getting behind the team. But we know that the players available to Solskjaer are not of the greatest quality. Some of them are doing very well. You know, we know we signed Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, and James, and they've all started the season in very good form. Rashford, Martial, they're looking very good. McTominay all season, and even Fred and Brandon Williams in recent weeks. But the squad needs strengthening, and there's a lot of reports flying about different targets and possible transfers, whether it's in January, whether it's in the summer, and the likelihood of getting these players. But we must realise, when it comes to Man United, our name holds weight, our name, garners clicks. We can't take everything we hear as gospel. But we're going to delve into it anyway. Before we go any further, make sure you hit the like button on this video and make sure you hit the subscribe button on the channel as well. Turn the notifications on to make sure you're notified anytime and every time we drop a video. So this article, and I'll read it up, it says, Manchester United have reportedly drawn up a shortlist of 8 long-term transfer targets. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is likely to be given funds to strengthen in January as he bids to take United back into the top 4 of the Premier League. Already I'm looking at it thinking, it's a bit weird. 8 long-term transfer targets, but he's been given money to strengthen in January. So is it short-term or is it long-term? You need to make your mind up. It says the move for Mario Mandzukic continues to be mooted, with the Juventus striker free to leave when the transfer window opens. But ahead of January, Solskjaer has reportedly identified another 8 players he wants to bring to Old Trafford. The Mirror reported last week that United are keen on striking a 200 million double swoop for Jadon Sancho and Erling Haaland from RB Salzburg. Yeah. Now, first on the Mario Mandzukic thing. And this article doesn't mention it, but I think it was ESPN reported today that we're apparently in for Edin Dzeko. Obviously, these 2 players are both in the twilight of their career. Respected strikers, done their bit in their career to earn that respect. But definitely past their best, over the hill, you might say. But these are potentially 2 transfers, or one or the other, that for me could work. It really could work on a short-term basis. 33, 34 years old, 18-month contract. You've got young forwards in, Greenwood, Martial, Rashford, James. So you're getting a 33, 34-year-old who's got that experience. Another option, because obviously their style of play as a number 9, as a striker, is completely different to what we've got at the moment. So not only does it give you option B, it also gives a bit of experience and just added depth to the forward line. I think either one of these signings could prove useful, but it has to be on a short term. We can't be signing them for 2-3 years and paying them 200,000, 300,000 a week. It's just ridiculous. No way. It has to definitely be short term. So a year to 18 months, absolute max. And in that time, you allow the forwards that you have, the young forwards, to carry on developing, whilst not putting all the pressure on the likes of Rashford or Martial, when they're injured, Greenwood, to get the goals that's going to fire us to meet our targets, glory. When Martial was out this season, Rashford had to go through the middle, and he's definitely not a number 9. There was obviously calls for Greenwood, but then, and I was calling for Greenwood as well. I understand now why Solskjaer didn't, because you put that pressure on a then 17-year-old, now 18-year-old, to lead the forward line over, that would have been, 8 weeks? That's a long time. That's a lot of pressure. And the way that football is now, fans are, especially our fan base, if he wasn't banging for, a few games, are overrated, overhyped, not good enough. So Solskjaer didn't want to, pin that on him. And maybe he wasn't performing in training on a consistent basis to warrant that spot. But backup in the forward line is definitely needed. It goes on, it says, whilst 100 million Sancho will go straight into the side, United are considering loaning Haaland back to Red Bull Salzburg, RB Salzburg, as he continues his remarkable campaign. So of course we know he scored 26 goals in all competitions so far this season, 7 in 4 in the Champions League, including a hat-trick on his debut. And I agree with that. If we were to sign Haaland in January, 100% want to loan him back to Salzburg for the rest of the season. And let's say we were to get Haaland, and Mario Mandzukic, I would be happy to loan out Haaland for 18 months. I'll be more than happy with that, because it shows that we've got a long-term vision, but we want to give him a bit more time, a bit more experience at a higher level, whilst making sure that we are in a good position within the club with our targets. So let's say, for example, we loan him back for Salzburg for the rest of the year, and then in the 2020-21 season, I would say loan him maybe to a Bundesliga club for a season. He gets that experience at a higher level, a league that is more similar to the Premier League than any other European league, and then he comes to us 20 years old, that much better, that much more experienced and confident in his own ability at that level. But the price, this is a £200 million swoop. And then it says, while 100 million Sancho will go straight into the side. So you're saying that Haaland's worth 100 million? I'm not having that. Not having that at all. This guy burst onto the scene. He joined Salzburg January this year. So he's really been around for 10 months. 10 months. And his name's only been in the headlines this season. 3-4 months. 100 million? You must be crazy. Must be crazy. You can't have Sancho, who was 19, 20 years old, has demonstrated over a long period, over a season, and that he can perform at a high level in the Bundesliga, Champions League, internationally, going for 100 million. Yet Haaland, who hasn't done nothing of note other than score a hat-trick on his debut in the Champions League, 100 million? No way. No way. I'm not saying he's not going to be a brilliant player. He looks quality. But that doesn't matter. He could turn out to be a world-class player. He could turn out to be, let's say as good as Mbappe. For me, you're still overpaying at 100 million. Doesn't mean that he might not become 100 million. But if you pay 100 million for a guy who hasn't proven himself really at any level, really, the Austrian league is not worth talking about. If you pay 100 million, you need to question your own negotiation skills. Because that is a massive, massive risk. As I said, it could pay off. But you shouldn't have to be taking those kind of risks. You should be able to, I would say, with all the hype and possibly the different possible suitors that are going to be going from at the same time, that alone would drive the price up. his sell on value or availability once he gets into his prime, because he's only 18. If you pay more than 60 million, and that is the absolute maximum, and even then, I will question that. If we pay more than that, we've had our pants pulled down. I'm telling you, no 18-year-old playing the Austrian league should be going for that kind of money. No way. No way. Not happening. Not having that. Not having that at all. So if we were to get him, we need to make sure that it's a good deal. A good deal for us. We go on to ESPN reports. Oh, sorry, on Sancho. That is a player. 100% I'll take. 100%. 100 million. I don't care. Get in the money. Get him in. He goes straight into the side on that right wing. Imagine a forward line of Sancho, Rashford, and Anthony Martial. Electric. Absolutely electric. I'll snap behind it. Whether it's January, summer, I don't care. Make that happen. Oh, listen. I'm not going to get ahead of myself in it, because as I said, we get linked with everyone and we end up signing or what. But he's a generational talent. He's a generational talent. Genuine world-class talent. Not player. Yeah, he ain't got there yet, but talent. He's got trickery, he's got pace. His decision-making is good. He's confident. For such a young player, he's confident. And that comes with being given the opportunity that he wasn't given at Man City, being given that at Dortmund, then performing, given the opportunity for England and also performing. Yeah, listen, he would improve our attack no end, because we've lacked goals, we've lacked creativity, and having that kind of player, it gives the likes of Martial, Rashford, that much more to work with. Just in the sense that if the defence and midfield have another world-class talent to focus on, it means that they have more room and more space to operate in. That would be a sensational signing, and it's nowhere near a given. No, not at all. Even though he is having some problems internally at Dortmund this season, he's not gonna be. Well, there's gonna be many clubs on the market. Who are gonna go in for him? Chelsea, 100%. I'm sure they'll be in for him once their transfer ban is over. Man City, I'd be surprised if he went back to Man City, but it's not beyond reasonable doubt. Sane looks set to leave once he's over his injury. A space is going to free up. Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, Sterling, they're going to want 4. But is he willing to go back there? He left there in the first place for a lack of opportunities. Does he want to put himself back in that position? Liverpool, again, brilliant team. He would definitely work in Klopp's system. But where does he fit in? Because once Firmino, Salah and Mane are there, he's going to be a bench player. He's going to be a sub. He's a winger. He can possibly play on the left, but he's not going to slip into a central position and, offer an option there. He's going to have to play wide, and you're not getting ahead of Salah and Mane. So they'll have to sell one of them. For me, if I was Sancho, to say, yeah, let me go there, because I can make that spot my own. Between Mane, Salah and Sancho, none of them are going to be happy with sitting on the bench. So one of them will have to go before Sancho, for me, makes that decision. Arsenal, I'd be surprised if they spend that kind of money, 100 million. It's being quoted. Spurs, they have now, I think they're an option. They're an option because, and the reason why I say it, if Pochettino was there, I'm not talking about him as a manager, but if he was there, I'd be very surprised if they signed Sancho. Not that he wouldn't be wanted or needed, but Levy hasn't demonstrated he's willing to give Pochettino that kind of money to spend on one player. He's brought in Jose Mourinho. We know the kind of manager Jose Mourinho is, how he operates in the transfer market. So there's two ways. It's either he's accepted that he's not going to get that kind of money, therefore that rules out Sancho, or Levy has said that kind of money is going to be available. Spurs are in the Champions League. Obviously, depending on when the transfer does go through, if it does, they could be in or out of the Champions League. World-class manager, world-class pedigree. That in itself is an attraction. Living in London is another aspect. So depending on what kind of budget Mourinho's working with, Spurs are in the mix. 100%. Cannot be ruled out. Chelsea 100% in the mix. They're bringing through young players. Lampard looks like he's doing a good job there. Pedro and Willian not getting any younger, even though Willian's having a very good season. But imagine you had the four options: Willian, Sancho, Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic. But again, is that too many options, too many people to fight through for him to get in that position, or does he trust his own ability to say, "Nah, I'm gonna go there," like Pulisic has done, make that position my own, and the rest of you man are gonna have to be the subs, because Hudson-Odoi, Chelsea fans are calling for him. We get him back. He can't get in ahead of Pulisic. Pulisic has made that position his own for now, at least. Man United for me is the easiest one for Sancho. Yes, we're going through a transition, but there are players who are performing, likes of Rashford and Martial. Martial's back in contention for a France position. If he can place in the squad, if he can keep up this form, and no doubt he will be on the plane and in the squad for the Euros. Rashford, he's performing both for Man United and England, regardless. So even with all that's happening at the club, the opportunity is there for him to perform. Daniel James, first season of Premier League football at this level, massive club, and he's performing as well. And if Sancho comes, for me, no-brainer, straight in the team. He's guaranteed first team football from the off, and as long as he performs and beyond. So I would say, in terms of playing time, Man United's comfortably the best option. But with all that's going on at the moment, there's still going to be uncertainty around all these jobs until he really puts together a proper run of wins together. That uncertainty and that rebuild, that could deter him. But, as I said, I would take him in a heartbeat, and I'm sure the rest of you will. Let me know in the comments below where you think he might end up. ESPN reports there are a host of other players on Solskjaer's radar, all of whom are under 27, in a clear shift of transfer strategy. Leicester and England star James Maddison is on the wish list, as is international teammate Declan Rice. Whilst with a striker remaining a priority, United have reportedly identified Lyon's Moussa Dembele, while Callum Wilson could bring some Premier League experience. United have also made checks on Aston Villa pair John McGinn and Jack Grealish. These targets are likely to be long-term options for Man United, but they could make a move in January if they became available. So let me just give you the prices that they're quoting. Sancho 100 million, Haaland 80 million, Maddison 60, Declan Rice 40, Wilson 30, Dembele 40, McGinn 20, Grealish 40. Personally, I'm going to rule out some of these as a personal opinion. McGinn, no. I'm not saying he ain't good, but we need better. Declan Rice, no. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced by him at all. Haven't been convinced by him from the moment we've ever been linked with him, and I looked at it even closely since we ever linked with him in the summer, maybe even a little bit before that, and I'm still not very convinced. And I've seen him for England. He ain't look great either. I said Callum Wilson. No, I wouldn't. He's in his prime in terms of his age. He's gonna want to play. Are we going to be playing two up front, Martial and Wilson? Can't see that. For me, we need to be looking at a world-class talent, world-class either ability or talent, and I don't see Wilson in that bracket. Good striker though he is. Jack Grealish is talented. He wouldn't be a priority for me, but he's a player who I do like, and he definitely gives an option in the midfield and across the front line. I would put that on the back burner, but it's one that for 40 million, British player, Yeah, I think that's a possibility. That's a possibility. But again, back burner. That's really a later deal you might do in a transfer window once you've got your really important ones. James Maddison. James Maddison. Actually, before we go on to him, Moussa Dembele. I like that one. I like that one. He has to be, as long as he doesn't believe he's going to come in and he's first choice straight away, because Martial for me is the first choice. But it's another option. And as far as I'm aware, he can he play in the wide positions as well? I hope so. Listen, our front line needs to be flexible. They need to be able to move around. It can't just be, I can only play on the right, I can only play on the left, I can only play up front. Throughout the game, they need to be flexible. But I do like some of the attributes that Moussa Dembele brings. So that is definitely one that I'll be interested with. And if we were to get him, it wouldn't be one I would turn my nose up at all. James Maddison, that position is crucial. 60 million for a young British player is not a massive amount of money. It's the going rate. Wan-Bissaka went for 50, Maguire went for 80. They're quoting James Maddison at 60. For me, that is a signing we do need. For me, I'm not saying he's a replacement for Pogba. Pogba may go in the summer. If we were to get a James Maddison, we still need to get an additional one or possibly two midfielders. But I think he can bring some more creativity. He's better than Andres Pereira, better than Mata, better than Lingard. He can bring some creativity and spark into a midfield that has lacked it in Pogba's absence. There is one name, however, that wasn't mentioned on there, but it's been mentioned since, and before and since, Bruno Fernandes. He scored a goal, an international duty to help send Portugal through to Euro 2020. Name was trending on Twitter, on social media. And the report is that 65 million could land Bruno Fernandes in January because Sporting have some debts they have to pay very, very soon. 65 million, I would snap your hand off. Like, listen, we don't know. He could come to the Premier League and be an absolute flop. And we say, oh, he can only do it in the Portuguese league. That may be the case. It happens to some of the best. It happens to some of the best. But for me, it's a risk worth taking. It's a golden opportunity if the player wants to come. If the player wants to come, golden opportunity. I don't think we can miss it. We can let go by. Those reports in the summer, we were in for him. How true those were that was left up to a lot of debate. We know we were definitely in for Dybala very late, unplanned. But it's a position, it's an area, that creative area behind the striker we're looking at. And not only does he bring the creative aspect, he brings goals in abundance. I think he scored over 30 goals last year. He's on track for another 30 this year. He's performing internationally. Yes, it's the Portuguese league, but who else is scoring those kind of numbers in any league? 30 goals from midfield. Like that's big. That is big. And whether Pogba stays or whether Pogba goes, a signing like that is a signal of intent for me. It means that we're not happy with what the likes of Mata, Lingard, and Pereira producing. And it's also a sign that Solskjaer is able to sign some of the best talent abroad. There's a lot of talk about, Brexit FC, only want English players. Well, no, as far as I'm aware, and I believe, we want the best talent who want to play for Man United. That's the criteria. If they're happy to be British, so be it. If they happen to have Premier League experience, maybe better. But for me, 65 million Bruno Fernandes, I think that's more than a risk worth taking. Yes, we've been burnt by some purchases from abroad of world-class players, the likes of, Falcao, Angel Di Maria. We've been burnt. But that doesn't mean we stop signing from abroad. I'm sure that we can list a bunch of British players who we've signed or brought up from the academy who have flopped for Man United. Does that mean we stop buying British? Does that mean we stop promoting youth? No. No, you just have to do a bit more due diligence and research into the type of player you're buying and how they're going to fit into what the manager wants. So, for me, of the 8 plus the Bruno Fernandes, over the next, say, 8 months, the 6 months of the season, plus the 2 months of 2019 remaining, I would love to see a Jadon Sancho. Right winger is imperative before the start of next season. We're getting well ahead of ourselves. If we can get one in January, all the better. But before the start of next season, a right winger is imperative. And so is a creative midfielder. So whether that's Bruno Fernandes, whether that's James Maddison, I'll be happy with either one. But we definitely need one of them. 100% need one of them. A striker. If we get a winger, then the need for a striker, or what kind of striker you go for, reduces a bit because you have another option in the attack. But an elder statesman in the mode of a Mandzukic or a Dzeko, along with youthful attacking vibrancy in Sancho, that would be good business. That would be good business. In terms of January, realistically, I can't see. The most likely of those would be, for me, in that list, Haaland, but loaning him back, Mandzukic or a Dzeko, maybe a Dembele. Buying a Premier League player in January, the team's either going to be fighting for the Premier League or top 4 positions in the case of Leicester. Aston Villa trying to stay up. So what, they get 20 million for McGinn or 40 million for Grealish and they go down. That 40 million's gone like that. Staying in the Premier League is worth so much. So I'm not expecting us to sign any Premier League players, first team players at least, in January. So abroad is where we're going to have to look. The squad definitely needs strengthening. We can't let January go by without strengthening in the attack specifically. And then in the summer, we have to wait and see. Guys, let me know your thoughts on all the possible transfers we discussed in this video. Which players would you like to see? Which do you expect to see at Manchester United in January? What positions do you think are the most important to strengthen? Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all soon.